Good morning. Welcome to EXSIN Live. I got to tell everybody, I almost had a heart attack. Phil just said he forgot his coffee. He's never had coffee in his entire life.
It's my tea.
So things are amiss at EXSIN. We're not sure what's going on.
World's upside down.
Today, we're going to talk about how attitude impacts outcomes in your life. And I got to share this story with Phil. I was leaving work to go talk to the chamber last week. And I drove down the street and turned onto 2nd Street. And this little old lady with blue hair, she had the biggest middle finger I've ever seen in my life. Apparently, I cut her off.
It was 27 inches long.
She's behind the steering wheel like this, flipping me. She was angry. And
Hold her hand up like this.
I obviously did something I wasn't supposed to, and I felt terrible, but she was very upset. But we've come to a place in our lives where we've forgotten that your attitude impacts your entire day. So if you wake up in a foul mood, everybody's in trouble because your attitude for that day is terrible. And if you believe you can or you believe you can't, Henry Ford said it, you're right.
Yeah.
So if your attitude is positive, positive things are going to happen. If you're in a pissed off mood all the time, guess what, folks? It's not going to be very fun for you.
Well, and I think the reason I'm chuckling, Dave's, I've had what do we call them, Phil mornings?
Yeah, it was Phil morning.
I had a Phil morning. Dave wasn't the first. We have a partner up in Kansas on another business that he got the first taste of it. And then another partner on another deal, he got the second taste of it. So attitude's important. Luckily, with this case, everybody that got to experience the film moment knows that I have those on occasion and gives me a lot of grace. But Dave's 100% correct. Having the right attitude every day is what's going to get you through the day. You can either choose to have a great day or a crappy day. I know all that's cliche and everybody rolls their eyes when they hear it, but it's true. I mean, you can either have a great day or a bad day. Well, you get to decide that.
Well, and I think one of the things that we need to think about as business owners and community supporters is that, our personal life and how things are going at home impact how things are going at work. I don't care whether you say it does or it doesn't, it does. Because that stuff is stuff in the back of your head that's bothering what you do. And if you're having a tough time, you need to get that stuff fixed. Phil and I have taken on some challenges as far as different coaching types because we saw what our clients needed as far as help in the personal space. And I think sometimes we think that we're so tough that we don't have to address challenges appropriately and move on. I think one of the best things that I've learned through the pandemic is that if people are toxic in your life, get them out.
Yeah.
Because everybody is so angry right now and everybody's so pointing on Facebook. It's hard. I have a friend whose son is struggling with cancer right now. I know he's in a really bad place, but he's so angry with everybody. He still goes out and pokes at people that don't believe the things he does, right? He has certain political views, which is fine. But he goes out and makes snippy comments on Facebook and he's just lashing out. He's in a bad place. If you have those people in your life, either try to hug them and help them or distance yourself until they get themselves fixed. All it's going to do is make you miserable. And I don't want that for anybody. I want everybody to find the joy in life and find the passion in life. My wife said, "You've been in a funk this week." And I said, "I have, honey. It's been a rough week." But she recognized it. We talked about it and worked through it. And I think you all need to have that sounding board in your lives to work through tough times because you can't do it by yourself.
No, tough people usually have tougher people around them. I mean, that's been my experience. You got those people that give you the tough love you need. It'll have the conversations with you that you need to have, not necessarily the conversations that you want to have sometimes. And I'll use Dave and I's relationship. It's really good because Dave and I, we get each other, and that just comes with time. And, he knows that when I'm in a certain place, he knows how to manage that. I know when Dave's in a certain place, I know how to manage that. And I don't think we've ever like snapped at each other. I don't think we've ever really had a cross moment with each other.
We get chippy every now and then.
Yeah, chippy, but nothing. I mean, we've never really like got after each other. And I think it's because if you respect somebody and you care about them, you're going to have those tough conversations, but you're going to do it in a way that isn't ripping their head off. And I think that's part of the deal is you cannot,
Why is Jen laughing at that comment?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
I don't know. But you can't, if you see somebody that's struggling with where they're at between their ears, right, attitude wise, ripping their head off is not going to help.
Nope.
I mean, it's not going to make it any better. It's going to do nothing but make it worse. So approach them from a position of truly caring and help them get on track. It'll be great. Dave and I talked for 5 minutes this morning and I was laughing, wasn't I?
Yeah.
I mean, because Dave knows how to approach it with me. Those things are important. We were on a call yesterday with a client, and Dave gets very focused on a project sometimes or in a conversation. And I started laughing. I said, listen, don't y'all realize Dave's a robot? I mean, you do it with levity and playing and joking and, doing all that good stuff. But, you gotta understand yourself. You gotta understand those people around you so that you can have success and always have maybe. And I'm not saying Dave's not saying be Pollyanna.
No,
I mean, life's tough sometimes, but you still get to pick how you're going to approach it. You still get to pick. Are you going to throw your hands in the air and say this is crazy and just give up, or are you going to take a deep breath and say, all right, I'm having a moment. I'm going to give myself 20 minutes to be pissed off, be mad, be grumpy, and then we'll move forward. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it.
Well, being angry or being in a bad situation and not taking action to resolve the situation is the issue.
Right.
And when your attitude is, I can solve this problem, I might be mad, I might be frustrated because of this problem, but we're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
That's a different attitude than, well, it's too hard, I quit.
Yeah, I'm done.
Right? And attitude impacts outcomes. I mean, if your attitude is, I can figure it out and we'll get there, then you're going to be fine. You're going to make it and you're going to get there. But if your attitude is, I'm going to quit, then you're going to quit. Back in the day, and I don't think we do this anymore with our kids, but if you started a sport, you got
finished it.
If your parents put you in something, you finished it, right? You didn't get to whine that the coach was mean. You didn't get to complain about this or that or the other. You had to stick it out. I made the mistake of trying to wrestle one year. I learned I was not a good wrestler, and I got my butt kicked. But I got better at wrestling, and I hated that year of wrestling.
It made you a better football player.
Well, that's why I did it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
But at the end of the day, the lessons I took from that year and the pain and the growth that happened, because my mom said, "You're not quitting. You started it. You're not going to quit." It made me that much stronger as a human being because I realized I could survive it and it wasn't going to kill me and it was okay.
And we've talked about this. You quit one time, it gets easy after that.
Absolutely.
I mean, it becomes real easy to quit if you ever start quitting. Quitting is one of the quickest habits you can develop. Yep. Quitting is. I mean, so just don't do it. Just, tough times make tough people, and I'm not talking physically tough. I'm talking mentally, just being a tough, resolved person, persevering. You got to do those things. I mean, that's what makes life worthwhile is overcoming things, know.
And the way you overcome it is step by step, right? First, start with a positive attitude that you're going to get there. We're going to figure it out. We have a client that near and dear to our heart that has had to make some tough choices and been put in some bad places. Yep. And this individual is selling her way out of her challenge. Yep. And getting it fixed. And it's crazy. I mean, I'm not going to share the specifics, but the stuff they've done in the last 4 months is beyond spectacular to get to where they are today. I mean, it's unlike anything I've ever seen. But their attitude is, we're not going to let this beat us. We're going to figure it out, and we're going to keep pressing on, and we're going to make smart decisions, and we're going to keep moving and grinding and getting there. And that kind of stuff inspires me and everybody else that works with us because of their attitude. And you can do this, right? If you're a business owner and it's tough right now, we get it. COVID was tough on businesses. We had to change our approach to things. We had to do things differently. But now it's time to take all those lessons you learn and implement them and get better.
The stuff on people personally too. I mean, whether you realize it or not, and I'm not talking about the political conversations of this. I'm saying just as a human being, it doesn't matter. If you're a social person, you haven't had a chance to be as social as you once did, right? There's a lot of restrictions, a lot of things. And those are starting to come down now. I just saw where my mask is where it's been for quite some time. Now I will wear a mask. Now listen,
you're not against masks.
No, I want to be really clear about this. If I'm getting on an airplane in 2 weeks to go to Florida, my beautiful wife, for a couple days, guess what? I'll be wearing?
Your mask.
I'll be wearing a mask.
It's a rule.
Because it's a rule.
Absolutely.
If I don't want, I can drive 20 some hours, I guess, but I'm choosing not to do that. Right. So we're not anti-mask. No. We're just anti-people threatening people with their employment if they don't agree with them. So at least I am. I can say that. But I think attitude's everything about it, right? I mean, you've got to be able to really check yourself and make adjustments on the fly, because you can be. I'll ask this question: has anybody ever been having a great day and then you get an email? and it just throws your whole day off. And I know I'm guilty of this. I'll say like, this day's just crap. And my wife's great at saying, really, the whole day? The whole day. You get one email and now the whole day's crap. Well, no, it's not. But let me have my pity party. Let me get it over with and then get back on track. And I think that's one thing we do a bad job of is we're not, I mean, you got to allow yourself to have the real emotions, right? I mean, you do. That's part of life. You got to have those emotions, but they can't dominate who you are. And you can't allow them as an owner or a leader. You can't allow them to bring everybody in your organization, everybody that you touch down as well. You know, you got to find a way to get back on track.
Well, and I think that's a good point in the sense that we have forgotten how to communicate as human beings, right? We get on a phone and we text for 4 pages as opposed to picking up the phone and calling the person and having a conversation.
This morning, Dave and I had a text going, and I'm like, well, I'll just call him. And I called him. I get a deal back, says, I'll call you in a little bit. And I'm like, well, damn it. You were just texting me. So he calls me back. Well, he was doing his morning devotional, right? I mean, but because we are good at talking to people. I mean, we prefer that. But sometimes text is a great thing too. But to Dave's point, we got to communicate with each other using our words sometimes. You lose that. You lose the body language. You lose the.
Well, and you'll say things.
Yeah.
You'll write things in a text
that you'll never
say to their face.
You would never.
And that doesn't make it okay.
No, not
just
at all.
because you're proud enough to text it to somebody doesn't make it okay. And we have all texted things that we regret texting.
100%.
Every one of us. We're
100%.
guilty. But we've got to get back to basic communications because you got a phone, pick it up, call them.
When you're looking somebody in the eye, especially with somebody you know, like, and typically trust, and you're just in a moment and you say, I mean, you're looking at, it's a lot tougher to Dave's point to be a jackwagon to them when you're verbalizing it, when you're sitting 3 feet from them. You know, it's just tougher. You know, we all have examples of being keyboard warriors, even if you don't want to admit it. Now, some people make a living being keyboard warriors, but we've all had those moments, right? To Dave's point, where you're upset in a moment, you fire a text off, and you're like, okay, where's that recall button? That was really stupid. Why did I just send that? And then what ends up happening usually when you send that, then you have to call them. Well, if you'd have called them in the first place, it probably would have never happened.
Well, and this is a good rule of thumb. When you're angry and you're on a keyboard, don't hit send.
No.
Give it 20 minutes. Take a look at it. Go because again, your attitude impacts outcomes. If you say something that you can't take back, it's out there forever.
It's out there,
right?
forever.
So your attitude at that point in your life impacted an outcome of a relationship, of a business deal, of a friendship, of everything else. So you know, I would caution you if you buy into attitude affects impact, then buy into I'm not going to text when I'm angry. I'm not going to email when I'm angry. I'm
not going to talk to anybody when I'm angry. I'm going to give myself a few minutes to kind of come down. You know, one thing I've tried to do, and I've done it with different varying degrees of success over my life, is if I'm in a heated moment, I try to either walk away or just take myself out of the situation for a few minutes. I've had success a few times doing that. More times I haven't, because my nature is to try to push through something, whether that's smart or not. But I'm conscious of it. And I think even if you're conscious of it, it has a way of dulling some of the sharpness of your words, right? I think even if you're emotional, if you're conscious of the fact that, okay, this is usually where I make a mistake, I think it'll force you to choose your words a little more carefully.
Yeah. And I think we all, you know, we're getting ready to figure out how emotionally strong people are in our country. We have gone through great times and we have created some challenges for ourselves because we've been in great times. Yep. We will go through some tough times. The COVID period was tough in a sense. And I'm encouraging everyone to start trying to come back together and go back to who we are as a core. We're human beings. We're neighbors. We're friends. I don't care what you believe. That's cool. But let's work on building a better community. You know, children that know right and wrong and don't cuss at everybody. Parents that are, you know, in the middle of their children's business all the time and not letting their kids grow up and learn lessons on their own. These are things that our attitude with our children and our friends and our neighbors, that's going to impact the outcome for the future of our country.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. It really will. I think there's, Attitude. We talk culture a lot, right?
Yeah.
Well, personally, what's your culture? It's your attitude, in my belief. I mean, I believe the way you approach life, the way you approach your relationships, that's really your personal culture and just how you're going to approach those things. So take the time. Dave loves to say it doesn't take any extra effort to be nice. He's right. It takes less effort many times to be nice, right?
People need bunnies. Bunnies make everything better.
People need bunnies.
Not going to argue.
That is true.
Puppy bulldogs do the same thing.
Puppy bulldogs, bunnies.
Yeah, they do. It's a true
unfortunately for me, chocolate makes everything better. That's why there's more meat of love these days than there used to be, Dave.
That stuff. That's bad for you.
Yeah, I got to figure that out. Got on the scale this morning, cried. Maybe that's why I got so angry.
It's not the scale's fault.
Not the damn scale's fault. It's my fault.
Hey, we're all and here's a shout out to everybody. We all talk about what happened over the last 2 years. We've all picked up some bad habits along the last 2 years. Whether it's eating chocolate or whatever you're doing, it's probably not healthy. Yeah. Now's the time to start thinking about how do we get back on track. It's time to be great again. Yep. It's time to be who we are. It's time to get back to who we want to be. I have two really good friends from one's from college and one's from my career flying AWACS. And they have, between the two of these ladies, they have lost a combined total of 130 pounds.
That's incredible.
In the last 5 months. And I've got a buddy that's
in 5 months.
Yeah. And I've got a buddy that's down at teaching here at a school in Oklahoma City. And he's lost 50 pounds in the last 5 months. So they are inspirations to me to be more fit and more healthy and do the right things. But what I'm telling people out there that are taking a step and their attitudes and impacting their outcome, and they're better off and happier than I've ever seen them. And it's absolutely freaking amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's
cool stuff.
So. Yeah, it is. It is.
So to those of you that are on your journey right now, proud of you. Post comments and tell us what your journey is so we can support you. We are here for you and your business and your family. So anything else, Phil?
No, I think just remember, if you're having a bad moment, that's temporary. Control it, get it back on track, do whatever you need to do, but remember there's 24 hours in each day. Don't spend them all pissed off and mad.
Hey, find something positive about today, whatever it is.
Yeah. There's a lot to be positive about.
Attitude impacts outcomes. With that, Dave and Phil, we are out of here.